So we're here in Geneva with Xhevdet Rexhepi. So every superhero has an origin story, and I feel as Xhevdet is going to be a superhero of the future, I want to get to his origin story. So when you were a young man, or actually a boy, right, you came over here from Kosovo,
Yes.
right, along with your brother Recep and your sister and your stepmother.
Exactly.
Tell us a little bit about that.
It was, how to say, it was hard because it was a war in our country. So our father was here and he took us from Kosovo here. And we came with my brother, sister and stepmother together. And we started a new life in Switzerland. Easy.
You know, it's crazy because I know you guys don't talk about this a lot, but actually the situation you were in was very dangerous, you know. I remember watching on the news just a few years before, there was this Bosnian General Mladic, and he attacked this U.S. peacekeeping stronghold, and he killed like 8,200 civilians, you know. So it, like the kind of like ethnic cleansing and genocide was really frightening. Did you feel this when you were young?
I feel, but in fact I didn't have too many
Memories?
Yeah, memories because of I was 7 years, 8 years, and at this time I was not really in this because I was young and our uncle or aunties didn't talk about this.
Probably they tried to protect you a bit from this as well, right?
Of course.
So tell me about what it was like to arrive in Geneva. What was that experience like?
It was very good but very hard because we had like friends in Kosovo, family, and we changed immediately, so it was like a shock.
Right.
But it was good because when you're young, you can make new friends, playing, and it's easy.
And Xhevdet, you know, your father, I think he loved Switzerland a lot because it gave him a new life, but he was always telling you guys to keep your head low, be humble, you know, because he had this mentality that as an immigrant you have to be that way. Is that how you were raised, or?
Yeah, it was like that, but it was hard because when I was young with my father, we didn't have too much conversation, and you know, it was hard because in our culture, the father will talk or speak much more with the biggest children.
Right. So the eldest son, he will talk to more, right?
And I was the guy who we had conversation, but we was not very serious. You know what I mean? So it was a little bit
kind of joked around with you, right? He had the serious conversations with Recep, and then right. And like, what drew you towards craft? Because you became at a young age quite interested to become a cabinet maker, right?
I started first of all with drawing because it was like something I was free when I was drawing. I was free. I can do anything, drawing everything. And it was the key for me to start something with manual. Right. And after that, Recep was watchmaker, started watchmaking.
He was already at Patek? Or?
Yeah,
right.
He started at Patek, and at 15, I finished the school, and I had to choose if I want to go to study or doing a manual thing, and I chose the Cabinetmaker. Because of I try many different jobs, but this one I like more this one. And after that, I worked for 4 years in apprenticeship in Geneva. And after that, at the end, the work after school, when you learn, it's more marquetry, small thing. But after that, it was only doors, windows, you know, big thing. And it was the right time for me to change.
So you actually really enjoyed the small things, the art of marquetry, for example, which honestly is extremely beautiful.
Yeah.
Right? And so that motivated this change to watchmaking?
Also, but in fact I wanted to be also a watchmaker because when you're young you want to follow a little bit your brother or something like that. But at 15 I had maybe much ego to don't do that, to don't do the same.
You didn't want to kind of copy your brother,
exactly.
Right?
And after that, when he showed me, I was like 20 years old, he showed me something and I say, okay, maybe I will try.
Oh, so you started when you were 20?
Yeah.
So a little bit later.
From 15 until 19, I was cabinet maker.
Wow.
And after that, I worked with my father for 1.5 years because he had a bar in the airport.
Talk to me about watchmaking? Like, how did
Yeah.
you go in? Did you go to Patek as well, or?
Yeah, I go to Patek to pass the test. The first test was a theory test to write French and mathematics and all these things, and the result was so-so. After that, the guy called me for an interview. I go to Patek. I was received in a room. There was 4 guys. Started to ask me, why do you choose watchmaking? Why do you choose Patek? And at this time, I was very shy, introvert. I'm also shy now, but a little bit different. And they asked me why Patek, why this, and I was like, I don't know, I don't know. And after that, it was, it was so bad. After that, the guy called my brother because it was the same teacher. And he called him, he asked him what's happened with your brother, because he didn't say nothing. They say, okay, please give him a chance because he's very good, but he's a little bit shy. He needs just to practice. And after that, I go again to Patek for 1 day of practice to disassemble a watch, reassemble, and make a tool. And this was easy for me. I mean, not easy, but I do it.
Very natural.
Yeah.
Yes.
And after 1 day, the guy, the teacher, called me again and say, okay, you can start in September.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And so, talk to me about your watchmaking career.
After that, I was 3 years at Patek, and after that, when I finished the apprenticeship, they wanted to keep me in the servicing department, but I chose another place, another company called MHC.
Mm-hmm.
There was a supplier, something like that, and I choose this work because I can do, at this time I can work on tourbillon, and to be frank with you, the salary was a little bit higher. But I was there for 1 year, and I stopped in end of 2015, and at this time I joined Recep to agree.
Tell me a little bit about the time that you spent with your brother. What was the best memory you have from here?
It was always good from beginning until the end. We passed by bad situation, good situation. It was something very, very, very cool.
At this time, was the development of like the AK-01?
Yeah.
And then all the way through the AK-06, right?
Exactly.
And the AK-06, I think, was a really important watch
Yeah.
because it was a watch that really showed from the front of the watch, the mechanism,
Yeah.
the reset, the 0 of the seconds. The finishing was spectacular as well. Tell me about for you, from your perspective, what was the importance of the creation of the CC1?
It was important because it was a totally new watch with new lines, classic watch. I mean, it was different than AK watches. It was good because I think my brother at this time was maybe challenged, and he drew this piece. He drew this piece and
changed history.
Yeah,
Exactly. It's probably the single most desired watch on the
Yeah.
planet today. He always told me it took him a long time to think about putting his name on the dial because your dad had always raised you guys to be, again, you're like immigrants,
Exactly.
even a bit like, initially refugees, and so you have to be humble,
Yeah.
don't make too much noise, don't put your names on
True.
things, and I think it was a very big moment when he decided to put his name on the dial, right? How impressed were you when he won the GPHG Award in 2018 for that?
I was impressed because I worked in the same way than him on this piece. I also helped him sometimes for drawing. I mean, I proposed to him some draw. Sometimes he takes, sometimes not. But it was like it was my watch because it's my brother. And in our culture, when your brother do something, even if it's bad, you have to support. You have to work in the same way. So it was it was emotional.
Okay, so let's talk about your watch. A lot of people are, and I'm sorry guys who are watching this, I know you were like, just get to the watch, but I think to appreciate it, you need to understand the guy first, right? Everyone's going crazy about this watch. It's the Minute Inerte, or in English, the Inert Minute, right?
Exactly.
Which is a watch where the minute stays completely still until the last 2 seconds of that 1 minute, and it jumps forward by 1 mark. So tell me, like, what was the inspiration for this watch?
The inspiration was that I saw many watches with that beat second, but for me it was impressive. That beat second was impressive, but it was not something very useful. I mean, it's nice to have this complication, la prouesse technique, but I wanted to have something maybe more easy to read the time. I wanted a classic watch with something easy to read. So that's why I think about this jumping minutes, because I saw many jumping minutes but with discs, and I was thinking about why nobody did this with a minute hand. And I thought I was the only one, but Patek did this before. So yeah, I wanted to have something very precise, and when I started I had this hour and jumping minutes. And after that I remember that when I was young I was taking the train to go to Patek.
Right.
And I saw this second doing the stop at 60, and I saw the minute exactly the same. And all this was connected to this watch. I think about this jumping minutes after I think about the railway clock station, and everything matched together, and it was the solution.
It's funny that you mentioned the train station, because people may ask, why do you need a watch with a precise jumping minutes? But actually in Switzerland, when it says 2:13, the train actually leaves at 2:13,
exactly.
Right? So it actually is extremely useful for that. So of course one of the questions are that it probably takes quite a lot of energy to have the jump of the minute every 1 minute, right?
Yeah.
But you have created a solution with the remontoir d'égalité to resolve that. Tell me a bit about that.
It's easy. It's the same than a remontoir in 1 second, but it's in 1 minute. So the remontoir is powered by the barrel, and you have an anchor with pallets stopping this remontoir wheel. And when the pallet move, taking the information on the second, and when the pallets move, the anchor move, the wheel is jumping every minute.
Right.
And
so
at the same time winding the wheel.
So it's the remontoir that's causing the jump then, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. And now, so the interesting thing is when you look at underneath the watch, or look at the back of the watch, you don't actually see the remontoir, but there's a clue as to where it is.
Exactly.
Because if you pick the watch up, there's an additional bridge right here, this beautiful steel bridge, right? So, okay, that brings us to the movement. So maybe we can start with that first. I love the finish, Geneva stripes in sort of a frosted René, and then high polished stainless steel for the bridges, and then for some of the other elements. Okay, talk to me, for example, what is this like horizontal metal piece there?
This long component, it's a spring click.
That's the click?
Yeah.
For the barrel?
Yeah, exactly.
Ah, okay.
This shape, it's inspired by something in a palace. How you call it? Palace.
Yeah.
Palace in Italia. I saw something is the same shape.
Yes.
So I reproduce exactly the same in the watch. But you have many things like that.
Yeah. So actually, as I recall, you were telling me that your girlfriend and you took this trip to Europe, and it was the first time you really took some time off and really explored, Europe. Then you went to some of the most beautiful cities. So you saw a museum in Venice that had this really cool pediment.
Exactly.
And you were inspired to use this as this I guess this click, right? The spring, right? Yeah. And so then you have another like very beautiful semicircular steel element here, which is in fact holding the hairspring as well, right? That's very cool. And so, okay, I have to say that these are some of the most beautiful steel bridges I've ever seen.
Thank you.
The amount of faceting on there is incredible. The internal angles that you see in here are, I like to think of them as the internal angles that can only be achieved by a young man with a lot of energy and very good eyesight. You know what's cool about it is that, like with every new artist, if I can say you're a new artist, you're trying to see if they have a voice that's unique. What's cool about this watch, and from the movement design perspective, from the language that you decide to use for finishing, for all these very straight elements and architectural elements, it's very clear. Like there's a very strong voice here. Okay, so let's talk about it from the design perspective, because there's also, I feel, an architectural kind of element here as well, especially through the lugs and through the side of the watch, and also in terms of the indexes and hands. Talk to me a little bit about this.
For example, for the dial, I wanted, like I said before, I wanted to have something different. The dial is something like you have the keystone at 12, it's like arches. You know these arches, and you
Yeah.
have always the keystone at 12
Right.
to maintain all the other.
The integrity of
stones.
the whole thing, right?
Exactly.
That's holding everything together, basically.
So
And talk to me a little bit about the design of the hands and the indexes as well.
the hands, I wanted to have something different. The hands called seringue,
Syringe. Yeah.
they call syringe, and I wanted to have something different on the hour end because if you look today, a hour end is always with a hole
Yeah.
around, and I wanted to have a different shape. So if you look, the shape of the hour end is like an eye,
Hmm.
and this is the same shape than the case. If you look the case on the side, the case is not round or flat, but it's like that. It's sharp.
That's cool.
So I reproduce exactly the same shape than the case on the hour
Oh,
ends.
yeah, that's cool.
It looks like an eye. It means that everything that I saw outside, I draw it
Put it inside here.
in the watch.
That's fantastic. I really love it. And talk to me about the case a little bit.
It's also inspired by architecture, more Gothic, maybe. You have some church
Yes.
with the window doing like that. So I take this shape and I put on the case.
It's really nice because it's very organic, but it's also very dynamic because it's got
Yeah.
the straight lines as well, right? Which also echoes the design language of the indexes and
Yeah,
even
exactly.
the bridges of the watch also. What's the price of the watch and how many will you make?
The watch is 83,000 Swiss francs, and I will make 50 in total. I will make like 30 in blue and 20 in green.
Okay. No more purple?
Purple, I don't know.
Okay.
I will because I will make one for my partner.
How are you deciding who to allocate the watches to? Because I'm sure you're having a bit of a challenge right now.
I have a bit of challenge, but in fact it's very hard for me to choose because I don't have a retailer or something like that, and it's very hard. Some people are angry because I cannot respond to everybody.
Oh, okay.
It's very hard. I didn't expect cet engouement autour de ça.
Right.
And I choose like if I have a good feeling with the guy, if he show me interest on the watch, if he show me that he understand my vision,
Right.
I'll do it naturally.
Nice. I think that's the best way to do it also.
Yeah.
It should be like friendship, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And then, hidden in this watch at 1 o'clock is a very subtle number 1, right?
Yeah.
Which represents that this is the first creation by you,
Exactly.
Xhevdet. You then have, I guess, enough space for 12,
Yes.
right? Will you finish at 12?
I hope I can. First, I hope I can make 12 different watches.
Right.
But the goal and my dream is to make like 12 different watches, and after that to stop my career,
Right.
even to don't sell my name, just to find a way with maybe another
Succession,
brand.
yeah.
No, with another brand to just for servicing the watches.
Wow.
Because I think if it's like a painter, you know. For example, Picasso. Nobody can take his name and draw again something
Yes.
and put the name Picasso. You know what I mean?
I do.
So for me, it's like that. I want to create 12 different watches. I hope I can do it, and after that, stop everything.
And do you have the other watches a little bit in mind already?
Yeah. In mind, I have like maybe 7 or 8, but now we are working on two other watches.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the things I've always respected about Francois Paul
Yeah.
so much, that he already clearly envisioned the entirety of his line,
Yeah.
you know, and it sounds like you have that in mind also, so congratulations. It's an awesome watch. Xhevdet, congratulations, sir. It's a
Thank you very
beautiful watch.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Cheers, guys.